Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series.
Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
Is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am thrilled today to have Mr. Jonny Lazarus on here with me. He is an NHL host and content creator. He's also a college hockey color commentator. He's a host and contributor with the DailyFaceoff. Jonny, thank you for joining me with me today.
Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you making room in your schedule. I know it didn't work out the first day just because of Wi-Fi issues. So
get it.
Hopefully it's a better day for you, though, because I know you went to game one of Carolina, Carolina, Florida that night, and did not go your way. So hopefully tonight it's a better outcome for you.
Hopefully it is. It was a rough night, I gotta tell you, but hopefully we're on our better foot tonight. And I'm lucky that I'm coming in with a voice today to talk to you because it was pretty deafening that first night. So happy I made it out unscathed.
Yeah, that's a fun building to watch a playoff hockey game in for sure. Especially when your team is winning on the road and you can silence them a little bit. But I'm actually with you guys. I'm rooting for the Canes. So yeah, well, hopefully they can have a better showing than in game one.
Yep, it's gonna happen. I'm the one with the positive attitude around in my family. I'm like, guys, it's game one. We have 6 more opportunities. I'm like, we got plenty of hockey left. We're perfectly fine. I want to get into you, though, and I want to get into where you started in your career. And first of all, your passion for sports. What got you into hockey? Where did your love start for hockey?
It's funny. I actually had this conversation with my dad and a friend of mine like last week, and hockey was never something that was really in my family. It's just something that I kind of watched on my own. I think I saw it on the TV in my house one day. We were a big Knicks family. My dad's a huge Knicks fan, so MSG was just always on, and the Rangers and Knicks share the same regional sports network. So I'm sure I just tuned into a Ranger game when I was like 5 and fell in love. But he was actually somewhat of an Islander fan because the 4 years he was in high school on Long Island were the 4 years that the Islanders won the Stanley Cup in a row. So pretty cool high school experience for him. But the love kind of just came from within. No one really showed me the ropes or taught me the game. It was kind of my own self-interest. And I will shout out one of my cousins, Jason, who was a big Ranger fan, but he didn't really play hockey. He just rooted for them. It was just me kind of loving the game just from an early age of my own. I'd go down in the basement, throw on my sister's Barbie roller skates, and until I loved it enough for my parents to buy me my own skates. And I kind of just went from there.
Your early work with everything college hockey and the Pucks in Deep podcast, it gave you a front row seat to kind of grassroots hockey media. What were the biggest takeaways from that experience and those experiences for you?
Yeah, that was funny. So everything college hockey does a great job. They're much bigger now than they were when I was with them. They were just kind of getting started. And, one game my senior year, our backup goalie, Steph Cantali, was like, I guess he was our starter maybe then, but filming us in our gym before a game. And I was like, what are you recording? And he's like, I'm doing a takeover for everything college hockey for their Instagram story. And I was like, what's that? So I discovered them then. Probably had maybe 1,000 followers at the time. But I thought it was really cool that James and his crew were getting into college hockey because, living here and being in the States, college basketball, college football, they're dominant. College hockey does not nearly get enough attention as those two sports. So I thought it was really cool to get in with them at an early phase and kind of help them too, right? Because I played Division I at 2 different schools. I knew a lot of players, knew a lot of guys from growing up. So I tried to help them get guests on their show and just tried to, help create the content that I would want to see as someone who not only played college hockey, but someone who's a fan of it. So giving them ideas, them allowing me to be creative and kind of run with it. I mean, I didn't have a big role by any means. I was just kind of helping out whenever I could and however I could. But it was a really cool learning experience for me just to see how social clips can kind of pop. At the time, 2019, 2020, podcasts, not every podcast at least, was putting out clips. Like that was something that I think was just starting. So to learn how to edit and to do that kind of stuff and make graphics was really cool and super helpful for me at the time because I was doing all that stuff on my own for my own stuff, my own content.
As someone who's kind of tried everything and worn all these different hats and all these different roles, you've done, I mean, social media, writing, live analysis, and podcasting. What have you learned about yourself through all of these? Have you learned where your kind of expertise lies, which one you like to do more, where you have more fun?
I mean, I've learned that I have a lot to learn. That's something seriously, like you think you know the game and then I joke, but like, I mean, I'm serious when I say it. Obviously it's not really applicable, but like, I feel like I'm a much better hockey player now than I was when I actually played Division 1, just because I've learned so much about the actual game that when I'm out there playing like beer league, I just feel better and feel smarter. But, obviously again, like I couldn't step foot into a Division 1 game right now and be good just because I'm not in shape. But, there is so much that goes into these things and so much that goes into a production of what you're seeing on TV. Countless meetings, preparation, phone calls, studying up. There's just it's like taking a test, right? The way you study for a big exam is kind of the way that everyone involved in hockey studies for one game, and you're doing it, 3-4 nights a week. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But for me personally, like I love doing the color commentary. I think it's awesome just to be so laser focused in the moment watching a game. When you're doing like I guess journalism, or when you're doing writing, like you're in your computer a little bit more, you're tweeting during the game, so you are missing some stuff that happens. Interviews are obviously super fun, and getting the personality side of players is great, but actually being able to be at a game, take in the environment, and notice all the little things that go into it, and then be able to share that through your own eyes and perspective, to me is really cool. And that's the biggest compliment, like, or the best compliment I could want is when people listen to me call a game and they say they were entertained, they learned something, they had fun, and that's all it is for me, right? It's like taking what I love and trying to pass that along to other people. So color commentary for me for sure is my favorite.
I love that. And jumping into the commentary and doing it with UMass and ESPN Plus, it brought you into the live sports production. What did that environment teach you about like pacing, preparation, and performance of it all?
Yeah, I'm a really fast talker. So listening back to myself, I've learned to, and I've actually have a broadcast coach now, Jill Montgomery, who's, done a great job helping me just like figure out my own ticks, different ways to present certain things throughout the game, and finding little nuggets that you can compare like other sports to, just to help make me a better broadcaster. She's been super helpful for me. I've been with her for like the past, 3-4 years. But, like I do a lot of, I think they call it like windshield reporting or something like that.
Okay.
Like when you're driving up to a game, you kind of practice what you're going to say and stuff, and you're talking into your windshield.
Yeah.
Well, preparation's everything. And I think when I first started, I was actually like over preparing that when I would get a hit on camera, I felt like I had to say everything that I had written in my notes. And it almost came across as like I was like reading something that I had memorized. So I think learning to be more genuine, not that it was disingenuine, but it was just more rehearsed, I guess.
Yeah.
So learning that I can be myself, but also lean on those things when I need to was super important, as opposed to just using those entirely and not really showcasing personality.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to sound smart. Like I was so focused on sounding smart that I almost lost the main purpose as to why I was there in the first place, which was just to have fun.
Yeah.
And to try to portray that. So learning that stuff was super helpful, but I still get so nervous every time. Like I have to, it's kind of like playing a game. You're always nervous for your first shift, and then once you get your first shift under your belt, it's like it's just hockey. So for me, it's get my first point across, and once I'm done with that, I can just relax and talk. But the whole day leading into a game, you're just thinking about that first thing you're going to say, because that sets the tone for the whole broadcast. So like once that's done, I'm usually pretty good.
With all of these different hats that you're wearing and all these different things that you're getting to do, are you still able to get on the ice? Like, are you still able to tie up your skate and get out there?
Oh yeah. I play mostly roller hockey now. I've grown toward roller. I think it's just way more chill, way more relaxed, lighter pace, earlier games.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Nashville next week to play in this thing called the Wish Cup, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like some former NHLers and a lot of like media NHL people are going to be there playing in it. And I heard it draws a pretty good crowd, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I play roller hockey like once a week pretty much.
Very cool.
And I love playing so much more now than I did when I was an actual player.
Yeah. I hear that a lot when people, it's a little bit more freeing. You can have fun. You're not like,
nobody yells at you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I want to get into the Blue Crew podcast that you did. It gave you the reins to shape a show from the ground up. What did hosting and managing a long running show teach you?
Well, it was kind of like I don't want to say it was like a fake it till you make it.
Okay.
But I was just given the keys by the Believe Podcast Network to essentially make a show that was my own.
Okay.
They didn't necessarily instruct me on what to do or how to format things. It was kind of like, we want you to host a Ranger show. Whatever you feel you can do best, do it.
Yeah.
And I tried a lot of different things. I brought on friends to co-host, which was awesome. I just got to talk about the Rangers with my friends.
Yeah.
But it also just showed me, like, I don't know how to necessarily phrase this. It showed me that I could like make a voice for myself.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a better way to say that,
That's
but at the time when I started, like similar with everything college hockey, people were tweeting, putting their opinion out, but no one necessarily put their face behind it.
Yeah.
I was posting clips of myself talking under my name. You have all these fan accounts and people who like use a different name because they're, sometimes maybe afraid of like a boss seeing it or something. And I had that. Like I worked a 9 to 5 job. My bosses saw that I was doing this, but I said I'm doing it on free time. Like it's not during work hours, stuff like that. But like gradually seeing a clip I post go from like 10 people watching it and getting maybe one like to, couple hundred people, was something that was just so cool to see. And again, like I suffer from imposter syndrome. Everyone does. Like, why would someone choose to listen to me? I only played Division 1. I never played pro hockey. But I always just tried to stay true to, being that knowledgeable hockey player, but also being that big fan. Like I'll always be a big Ranger fan. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I love my job, because I grew up going to Madison Square Garden and I get the chills every time I'm there still as a 29-year-old. It's the best building in the world. So, staying dialed in on the fan side, but also providing some knowledge was like the best thing for me. And I think, people like related to that, because I wasn't just going on there to give hot takes or create unrealistic scenarios. It was just talking about the X's and O's of the games and giving like my passionate opinion behind it. Which is more common now, I think, in the world of sports than maybe it was 5 years ago.
There are a lot, even as we've gone through the playoffs right now, there are more and more that I'm finding like Carolina Hurricanes podcasts where I'm like, we have a lot of podcasts talking about Hurricanes.
Well, anyone could do it. And that's the beauty of the world now, right? Like, obviously it's certainly, it takes a certain personality and some talent, but like, if you want to make something of yourself, there's no excuse anymore as to why you can't.
Well, and like you were saying, like the personality behind it, the grabbing of the clips and all of that stuff, like that's how people are finding out. Like it's all over my TikTok. And of course, right now, us being in the playoffs, that's how people are grabbing on and listening to these things, because it's just like trending things that going through everybody's For You pages.
Well, that was the biggest thing for me too with the Blue Crew, is like the Rangers were good. So everyone wanted to hear, like everyone was just dialed into hearing about the Rangers. So, I always joke, like if the Rangers sucked, like I wouldn't have this career probably. Like people were paying attention to me because I was just posting a clip like every day talking about what was happening in the playoffs.
It's always great. I always enjoy a good Rangers Hurricanes game. It's
always work out for us for the most part.
It's always
this
aggressive game that, especially being down here and having so many New York, Jersey, from the North transplants down here now, it kind of, the Lenovo Center turns into just blue sometimes. And you're like, shit, we got to be loud tonight.
Always fun being there. Like, and when I was there for games, 3 and 4 last year. Like all the Carolina fans, I hate them online, but in person they're very nice.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate the compliment.
yeah,
We
yeah.
appreciate it. What is something you used to believe about working in sports media that you no longer think is true?
Ooh. Um, people are non-biased. Yeah, everyone has a little bit of bias. I think if you admit it, it's just better. Anytime I talk about the Rangers or a friend that's in the NHL, it's usually from a biased perspective. But I always try to let people know that and take it with a grain of salt. But like everyone's got their own biases in some sort of way. And listen, that's what makes us human. And I'd rather watch people be genuine about their opinions and their passion than
Yeah.
someone who's just up there kind of doing it without any
Yeah.
oomph to it.
Yeah. We've all had these moments in our careers, whether you've been in it for a long time or short amount of time. But has there been a moment that has really humbled you? And what did you take away from it?
There's been lots.
Yeah.
I've always tried to be like a humble person though. And I think it just comes from my hockey upbringing too. Like, I was a double A player that got cut from like a lot of triple A teams, and I was always trying to just belong, trying to prove that I was good enough.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of gone into my media career too, where like I never thought of myself as some hot shot with a big ego. It's always just trying to prove myself. And even with that, like when you do feel like things are going your way and um, like you've kind of built momentum and
Yeah.
not like you've made it, but like you've made a name for yourself. There's always something that'll, like again, like I'm still looking for the next big thing, right? Like, I'm by no means like there's always people who don't know who I am, and that's an opportunity for me to show them like who I am. Um, but I can't think of like one specific scenario that humbled me.
Yeah.
Maybe just like every now and then I'll ask a question and maybe it's not a good question and someone tweets at me like, what the hell is that? Maybe that's something. But
Yeah.
the people that are mean to me are usually it's like banter for the most part. Like, cause I welcome it.
Yeah.
I don't like fire back at people for the most part. Like it's a kill or be killed world. My dad always said that, if you're going to dish it, you gotta be able to take it too. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So like, I can't think of like one specific thing that humbled me. I just try to have that every day.
My dad, born and raised in Michigan, and we grew up, my sister and I, just a big sports household. And he was like, if you're gonna be able to shit talk, he's like,
Oh yeah.
you better be able to take it back with you because somebody's gonna give it back to you just as hard.
Mhm. Some people are mean though, for sure, like very mean. But like even when they are, it's just like whatever. It's just
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. It's just the void of social media sometimes. As the game evolves and you've talked about this, finding your voice and putting your voice out there, what do you hope your voice adds to the future of hockey media?
I think it's just fun first. That's kind of what I've always preached, and I know I say a lot of stupid shit, but like it comes from a genuine place.
Yeah.
I talk every day about hockey. Not everything is going to make sense or sound smart. There's going to be a lot of stupid things in there, but like, trust me, I'm the first one to know when I say something that's dumb. But I think that's the point, though. Like, not having to sound like the smartest, not having to think your opinion's the only one that matters and the only one that can be right. Just having fun with it. Like, it's sports. At the end of the day, everyone comes home from work. We tune into the TV. We want to be entertained. We want to feel something and we want to have fun. Nobody wants to, hear about why you're a loser or,
Yeah.
all this kind of shit. Like, it's so stupid. But, I think for me, it's always just like, I hope people can see that I love what I do and everything that I do. I think that's how I'd like to have my voice be portrayed.
Well, and that's what we all kind of strive for, right? You want to be able to love and enjoy what you do every single day. Like, and not every day is going to be easy and fun,
Mm.
and you're going to have your ups and downs. But if you love what you do and show that off, people are like, okay, respect,
Yeah.
respect
Yeah.
it.
But sometimes it comes off like I've been called insufferable because sometimes you do it too much and you're just too happy. And that's so like that one, someone tweeted like Jonny Lazarus is insufferable, and I was like, what? Like I was just like so thrown off that like someone would actually like
Write
feel
that.
strongly. No, but like even like that I could even be capable of making someone feel that way. Like
Yeah.
that, like to me, that was almost like a compliment that like my name was out there
Yeah.
enough for someone to feel that, you know? But yeah, that's just another thing that goes with it too. It's like I think that's the hardest part, and I understand it a little bit more with the players too, right? Like these players dream of growing up and playing hockey. They don't necessarily grow up and dream of being in the media or have their personal lives criticized or things they do criticized. Just like people like I just wanted to talk about hockey and like be at NHL games. I didn't want people to like ask me who I vote for or all, like I just love hockey. Like that's really all it comes down to. And you know, I guess that's just part of it that you have to sign up for.
Well, and it's funny, I talk about this all the time. We wonder why, even as you just were talking about, players aren't on social media more. I'm like, well, just players want to hear all this shit that people are just ripping off.
Yeah.
They have no idea about hockey. But it's even the media side of it. I talk about it all the time with my sister. I'm like, it's a wonder that players don't look at media sometimes and be like, did you just really ask me that question after I
Yeah.
just lost a game?
And sometimes they understand though, like
Yeah.
they know we have to ask the questions. Um, which is always great when a player kind of understands like or gets to know you and knows that you're not like really out there to get them, but like you wouldn't be doing your job if you didn't ask. But no, listen, coming up with questions is tough every day, but having to answer the same questions every day is got to be annoying as hell. So I totally appreciate the players that are willing to do it. Not everyone is.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for the guys who stand in front of the media every day and answer the questions.
You've been on both sides of the glass as a player and now as a voice of the game. Is there something that you didn't expect to miss about playing and one thing you didn't expect to love about commentating?
What I miss about playing the most, honestly, is just warm up. Um, I don't even need to play in an NHL game. I would love to just be out there for one warm up. It just looks so fun. Music blasting, no helmet, hair flowing, kind of just like having a good time out there with your friends. And then obviously 20 minutes later the game starts and it's you know, all business. But I miss like getting to the rink, stretching, playing soccer, and just like everything that leads into warm ups. Like, cause it's all just like fun and games for the most part. And then once you're out there for warm up, like it starts to get a little bit more serious. But just showing up at the rink and like goofing around and having a good time is like the best part about being a player, in my opinion, obviously outside of like playing the game, scoring a goal.
Yeah.
But I really do miss that, like just the build up for the game. Um, and one thing I didn't expect to love about the media side, I don't know. It's not like I like, kind of expected myself to be doing it. It was just like, a friend of mine who worked at UMass, like said they needed someone to step in and like do a game and I'd never done it. And I was like, sure, I'm sign me up. Um, I don't know. That's a really good question. I've never thought about that, to be honest, Danielle. Like, what's one thing I didn't expect to love about commentating that I love? I actually say, getting to talk individually with coaches because like typically on like a Tuesday if I'm doing a game on Friday or Saturday, like a college coach will have their media availability and you'll be able to talk to them like one-on-one and kind of like a little bit off the record too, which is cool. So you hear about the behind the scenes of what the guys are doing, like if it's Jay Pandolfo with BU or Greg Carville with UMass or Ben Barr with Maine, like coaches now that I'm familiar with, and when I see them in person, they know who I am. So it's cool to have that relationship and almost see it form. Um, that's not something I like knew about necessarily, I guess, leading in, but it's something I've grown to really love, just like kind of forming relationships with coaches and even players too, which
I
is
love
really
that. I'm sure you've learned so much from them too, just as they've progressed through their careers. I mean, everybody started in a different place, so it's probably so interesting to hear all those different perspectives too.
cool. Yeah, no, everyone's upbringing is so different in hockey, and honestly, like this past weekend, I did the Clark Cup final in the USHL, which is like a step below college. And some of the players and coaches knew who I was, which was so cool.
Yeah.
For me, because I'm not like used to being recognized or anything like that. So, that was a pretty like humbling.
You've talked about wanting to grow hockey in a more inclusive and fun community. What's one small change that could make a big difference in that mission, you think?
Well, I mean, obviously it starts with making everything cheaper. I think sticks right now are $400. Like that's the easiest thing you can go to. Yeah, when I was playing, I think a stick was $100, which was still expensive, but that was back in like 2005, maybe when my dad bought me my first stick. I mean, man, there's so many thoughts that go into it, but I think it all starts with college.
Okay.
Um, you think of college towns,
Yeah.
like they're not always in big cities that are expensive. If you make college hockey, like let's say in what would be like a smaller college hockey market. Um, I'll use Niagara University in Niagara Falls, New York, right?
Yeah.
Like, just getting people out to college games, falling in love with it. It's like $5 maybe to get into a game. Um, and growing the popularity of college hockey to me is what will like almost set the stage for the popularity of the sport. Because I think that's where people fall in love with NBA prospects, NFL prospects, because every Saturday afternoon, you're either on the couch or at a bar watching college football, watching college basketball. So if we can like make that happen in college hockey and have younger kids go
Yeah.
to college hockey games, look up to student athletes. And that's honestly like that's what you want to teach your kids too, right? Like take the classroom seriously and take your after school activities seriously. So if you can grow the popularity of college hockey across the country and all these different cities, small areas, states that don't have professional hockey, I think that's a good way to just start it. Obviously going into communities and putting on events. Like I actually had an event last year in Brooklyn. It was what was it called? Like Sunday skate in Brooklyn or something. We were going to do like a 3-on-3 ice hockey tournament outdoor in Brooklyn in January, but it ended up raining that week and the sun came out and melted the ice, so we had to cancel it,
Yeah.
which sucked. Um, but I don't know, just coming up with creative ideas like that to do it. But I think there has been a lot of growth across the country, and a lot of that has to do with like these, quote unquote smaller market teams like being good.
Yeah.
And the game is growing down south, which is great. And if I think it can continue to college, that'd be even better.
Yeah. We even talking about the stick part of it, like equipment is so expensive. And
Yeah, it's
we
you can't
have
just pick up and play.
we were talking about it. I mean, Brent Burns one game, I think it was versus the Capitals during the playoffs, broke two sticks in one game. Next game he broke another two. We're like, holy shit, that's like
Yeah.
$2,000 just gone.
Yeah. It's wild. It is. But even just thinking about like if you're a parent with two kids, you want to take your family to a game, you're dropping probably at least $1,000, Whereas if you're going to a college game, it's probably $100,
Yeah, very true. Very true.
something like that.
And it's even as we've gotten through the playoffs, I'm like, okay, every round is just progressively more and more expensive.
Insane.
I want to do a little speed round gut reaction with you.
Yeah.
If you could broadcast a game with any commentator, living or legendary, who are you picking?
Kenny Albert, Ranger game, easy.
Okay, awesome.
Easy.
Favorite chirp you've ever heard on the ice?
Ooh.
You can say it here. This is you can cuss here too if you need to.
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I don't know off the top of my head. That's hard. Could you come back to that one?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll think about
Most underrated college hockey barn to call a game in.
it. Ooh. I'd say Northeastern, Matthews Arena, but they're knocking it down, so like that's tough. But just the historic part of it, student section when it's there, it's rowdy. Not like the prettiest or the nicest, but like historic and cool.
Player you'd most want to mic up for an entire playoff series.
Paul Cotter
Okay.
on the Devils. He's a really funny dude, underrated personality. I spoke with him one-on-one when he was on Vegas last season. And yeah, he's a hidden gem of a guy. So he'd be first instinct was Paul Cotter. I think he'd be really funny.
Best hockey smell. There are not too many.
Yeah, there's none that I can think of. New gloves,
Okay. Best hockey sound.
bar down, obviously. Yeah.
If you had to pitch a Netflix docuseries, not about an NHL team, but a niche hockey community. Like you were talking about those college towns.
Yeah. Maybe just like the the start of like the Penn State program to like where it is now.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the cooler programs. They just went to their first Frozen Four.
Yeah.
Like to see the behind the scenes of, Terry Pagula and how they came to an agreement with money and building the arena and recruiting and all that stuff to where it is now, I think would be really cool.
All right. You got your chirp?
I'm trying. I can't think of anything. Chirps in the locker room. I mean, I don't really want to say it because it's like it's one of my friends. It's like mean, but a lot of bald jokes to one of my former teammates. I won't say the name or whatever, but like we played a game at Maine, and we were standing on the blue line for the national anthem. Building silent. You just hear from the student section behind us, "Hey, blank, where's the rest of your hair?" And our whole team just started dying, like literally dying. That's the cool part about like playing college. Like sometimes you're just human and you want to be locked in, you want to be dialed, and when you hear something like that, it's just hilarious. Like you can't help but laugh.
It's really interesting as I've got like I started watching hockey when I was 4 years old, like went to my first Hurricanes game when I was four, and that's when I kind of just fell for it. I'm 28 now, but it's been so interesting as I've gotten older and I've like realized like hockey vocabulary.
Mhm.
The most ridiculous things sometimes.
Stupidest shit ever. It is so dumb.
Every sport has it too, but hockey's you're just like people are like, "What's lettuce?" And I'm like, "Oh Jesus!"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
let me get the hockey dictionary out for you.
It's its own language, but that's like I remember growing up and hearing it for the first time, and I'd like because there weren't many hockey players in the
Yeah.
school district I grew up in, so like I'd hear it at the rink and I'd bring it back to my friends at school the next day, and they'd like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But they like all loved it, you know.
One of my last questions for you. You've been working with the Israeli hockey through the
Yeah.
Israeli Elite Hockey League.
Mhm.
What got you into this? What surprised you the most about working in this part of the world?
So I played in this thing called the Maccabee Games back in 2017. It's essentially like the Jewish Olympics. Where you actually go to Israel and you compete in there's basketball, there's every sport.
Yeah.
So I played hockey representing Team USA and play against Canada in the gold medal game, and like the USA Canada rivalry even spreads, to Israel. We had like I think 8,000 fans at the gold medal game, which was super sick. We like got to a fight and warm up. But like growing up, as a Jewish kid from Long Island, like there weren't many Jewish hockey players to look up to, and there are more now, which is really cool. And you have I know things are tough right now in the Middle East and everything in Israel, but you know, I was bar mitzvahed, and you kind of have that connection to Israel when you go there for the first time, and it's part of growing the game too, right? Like anyone who loves hockey, doesn't matter where you're from, what religion you believe in, all these like if you love hockey, you love hockey, and you know seeing the passion that Israelis had for hockey when I was there, being able to help out any way I can would be super cool. And there have been some guys that have come from Israel that have now made a name for themselves in the hockey world. Like Zeev Boyam, I know has ties to Israel, who's now in the Minnesota Wild. It's really cool. So it was a chance for me to help the Jewish community any way that I can, and the fact that they came to me and wanted my help was super cool. So just trying to grow the game, spread it to new places, and that's really all I'm doing.
That's fantastic. I think as you were saying it earlier too, like even growing the game down south, but just all over the world has been incredible to be able to have that opportunity. I think it's really awesome that the game is growing in so many different ways.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, they put on a great event in March at UBS Arena. It was Jerusalem versus Tel Aviv, and to see the Jewish community in New York like come together and watch two Jewish teams play hockey was really cool. And obviously, there's a lot going on out there, and if you have a chance to just play hockey and get on the ice, kind of takes your mind off of things a little bit, which is why a lot of us play over here. So I just thought it was super cool. And
Jonny, my last question for you is just what continues to fuel your fire and your passion for everything that you've got going on and that you're doing?
I love hockey. It's always been what I love. It's funny, like people ask me what TV shows I watch, and I literally just turn on YouTube and watch like the every goal from the first round of the 2013 playoffs. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I put on. Like I've
Yeah.
always been obsessed with hockey. I get home from school as a kid, I throw my backpack down, I put my skates on, I go play. I'd play Xbox. Like just kind of I don't want to be cheesy and say like, you know, if I could show like that kid what I'm doing now, like it's the coolest thing ever. You know, like my complaints are like, oh, I got 3 hours of sleep last night, but I have to do my show and interview a former NHL player tomorrow at 7 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's my
I feel
complaint.
really
Like,
sorry for you.
yeah, like you know, so um trust me, I'm fully aware of that. And
Yeah.
like I try to stay aware of that. And anytime I am exhausted and I have to go to a Ranger game and like say, oh, I gotta get to MSG, you know, it's like, oh, really? Like, you know, you kidding me? So I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what keeps me motivated, just knowing how lucky I am to do this job. When this is something that I only could have dreamt of and never could have seen for myself 15 years ago as a kid. So yeah, I think it's an easy thing to motivate me when I know how lucky I am.
Love it. Johnny, I can't thank you enough for joining me today. Sit down with me and talk to me about the beautiful game of hockey. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Danielle. It was a blast. Seriously, thank you so much. And hopefully, again, the Canes can get to the like a final. Maybe I'll be able to make my way down there.
But I so appreciate it, guys. I'm going to have Johnny's socials down below. Please go give him a follow, everything that he's doing. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.